Hello. Welcome. Today we have early uh, early morning talks with romantic developer. I know that morning is not so early on East Coast, but on West Coast it's pretty early, and I'm doing it just to not miss the stream, which I should do at the night. But yeah, as I said, the whole week was super busy, including today. So let me start the stream services. Oh, interesting. It say I don't have any stream. Let me find once again. No streams. Let me do another one. Project romantic projects. Romantic YouTube and stream. Interesting. I'm not sure if I connecting to my current stream, but surely I have a live stream, but my helper couldn't find it. Of course, I can execute. Oh, now it's found. Okay. Maybe there is some delay before stream is started and stream appeared on the channel. So okay, testing sound. Let's see if I can hear it. I'm sorry. ChatGPT decided, I mean, LLM I'm using for the chatbot decided to skip all the messages here. It decided it's not message to streamer and it should skip it.
Hello here, I'm so glad.
Okay. So now we resolve that situation. I can hear, so we are good. Nice. So now we can get going. So I believe today was another great day in the world of our AI news. For that, I'm just going to switch to my screen. Do some cleaning. I use that services quite a lot today for some other stuff. Okay. And switch. Nice. So today we have a new model available which called ChatGPT-3 Mini and ChatGPT-3 Mini High. They replaced O1 Mini completely. So we have O1 and O1 Pro and O3 Mini. Blessed me. Sorry. And we have O3 Mini and O3 Mini High. O3 Mini basically means that it's O3 Mini medium. Both models can be enabled for search, which is really great. It's the first ever model from American. Okay, I'm joking, not from American, from OpenAI company, which available in internet. So it's good news. GPT-4o now also has not only search, which is by default, but also, if I'm not mistaken, if you go to GPT-4o, okay, time to time for that model, I see that it supports, something like sync mode. So I'm not really sure if it's appear every time, but yeah, right now I don't see it. But yeah, like here, I don't know what is the difference. But here you see you can use more intelligence or search capability. So here it's wise like only one from two. And nice thing that here you can also include some files and say sync, because if we will choose O3, for example, we couldn't add any files, and as well O3 mini high. Nice. Probably it's a good time to go to some of the OpenAI.com and read some news on the company section about news about news. Okay, and surely we see that yesterday was released a new O3 mini, and it's provided some basic information that preview was in December for security team. So that model has exceptional STEM capabilities, mathematical and coding capabilities, and so API also available for usage tiers 3 and 5, from 3 to 5. And if you look about usage tiers, usage tier 3, it means that it should have spent at least $100 for all the API cost, and of course should have at least a week of successful payments and spent more than $100. And tier 4, at least $250 spent in the last and at least 2 weeks since first successful payment. Tier 5, of course, even bigger. And we see that for tier 3 model, it should appear here somewhere. Okay, it's not here yet. We see only O1 mini, but surely they haven't updated that yet. But what we can see that O3 mini, okay. Also, they not support vision capabilities as of now. And if you want to use vision capabilities, we need to use O1, probably O1 mini as well. Also, it's much more, so normal users plus and Teams user have 50 message per day of O1 mini, and 150 of O3 mini. And what else is interesting? Pro user has unlimited access for O3 mini and O3 mini high, and all pay users also have access to O3 mini high, but it will have some limit, I believe. Okay, fast, powerful, and so on. O3 mini response much faster, like basically 2 times faster, and it has about twice as a reduction in major errors and difficult real-world questions. I already tested it and some basic stuff, it's working good. So O1 mini, and you see O3 mini, so it's a big leap here. I mean, in accuracy or each PhD level science questions, even dozens of I mean, dozen part of percent, it's already a lot. And now we could see that it's winning even O1 preview, or like, which is very capable model in PhD questions. So it's all the passes, frontier, code completion, software engineering benchmark. As you see, the highest score to the date from all OpenAI models, and looks like it's the highest score from all models in the world. Okay, some other metrics, how people and models evaluated. Latency, you see that latency is smaller for O3 mini. Safety also good, because safety is the main reason why they didn't get out that model, you know, months ago, but wait till DeepSeek do that. So reducing per token price, and you see they reducing it over and over. And if I'm not mistaken, now the token price is just slightly more than DeepSeek, so maybe 2 times more, maybe 3 times more, not like 30 times more like before. So surely OpenAI moving in proper direction. And here, of course, DeepSeek models created that healthy manner of competition between some companies. But at the same time, if we go to the DeepSeek status, our favorite page over the last few days, we see that API for which we paid something, it's completely unavailable for last few days. So it was unavailable for 22 hours, 24 hours, like 3 hours in partial outage, 24 hours, and so on. Also, there are some problems with web chat service. Even it shows as green. I try to use it. Okay, it should understand that I'm a human. And can you search the latest AI news and summarize? I don't know, something like that. Yeah, it's trying to sync, but again, most probably it can fail to sync. It's trying doing something, and they said, "Oh, I'm still not feeling good." So it's what it do. Of course, its main competitor right now, it's free. It's one of the first reasoning more. Okay, nice. It's trying to respond something. But you see, it's, believe me, it's too long for that model. I use it on the second day after they released, or maybe third day, and it was super fast. You ask question, and it's already providing you streaming response with all the information about links is processed, etc., etc. So of course, it's now thinking much longer, and you see server is busy, please try again later. And it was very basic question. What is nice about ChatGPT problem, as I said, that they could do the search. So if you ask, so it doesn't show the very detailed information about what it search, you know. But you can say that it search because of the way how it thinks. When I try to ask it to research some specific pages and return me response, with every new question, it becomes harder and harder to do. It's tend to look into the context, into the conversation history, to provide you answer rather than trying to get that information online. Maybe they put some, optimization that please, whenever and ever you can, please don't use like search YouTube access. At least it's my feeling for both O3 mini and O3 mini high. So even it's possible to trick it to say, hey, I really need you to go to that URL and check that information before answering me. And by saying checking information, I mean you need to come to that URL, gather all the information, and then build the summary from information you gathered from the URL, again URL. And when you insert like 3 times in a question some URL or 4, maybe it could get information from here. But see, here we looks like we are good. It gets some information from somewhere. We don't see the websites it used. Maybe it's right because there was a lot of situation about where it took the data. Is it using the proper websites or not, and so on and so on. And because of it, I know that OpenAI have some big problems in Europe, which is very democratic country already. Not countries. Some of those countries already prohibited DeepSeek because DeepSeek, in DeepSeek you have chats. So, and because it stored the chat somewhere on their local servers, Europe Union says, hey, you couldn't save any information coming from our citizens on your servers. Please remove it. But how they could remove? So if I'm not mistaken, DeepSeek just ignored their queries. And in Europe, some countries decided to block DeepSeek at all. Maybe for good. When people allow such nonsense, maybe they not have rights to use free and so cool artificial intelligence model. It's like Darwin theory, when evolution process remove weak and leave strong. Sorry, I haven't slept that night, so maybe telling something bad. Sorry. So Chinese breakout in market impact. Nice. We already heard everything about it. AI in journalism and content quality. Academic studies exploring methods such as fine-tuning models like BERT and Robert A to detect AI-produced news articles with very high accuracy. At the same time, case studies are emerging that documents both the benefits and risks when newsrooms use generative AI to draft articles. So yeah, it's based on archive.org research. I believe that very soon it would be not possible to distinguish if something AI generated or human generated. Sometimes I do write some letters or some messages and people say, hey, you generated it by AI. No, I generated it by myself, but I work with AI a lot. And sometimes the forms AI use, I start feeling them as mine, some words or some combination. Apple recently paused its AI-driven summarization feature for news notification after a publisher raised concern over significant errors. For example, misreporting details about criminal cases. And Google reportedly working on an upgrade for Android that use a Gemini Nano model to screen unwanted phone calls. This new feature, informally nicknamed Dobby, aims to automatically handle spam or cold calls. Okay. Broader implication and ongoing debates. Global competitiveness. With DeepSeek model coming from relatively unknown Chinese startup, concerns are mounting that US tech leadership might be challenged if more efficient or cost-effective models continue to emerge. Quality and ethics. Research and regulation. Okay, so we see that it's found something, and it even provides some links from January 17, from November 10, from June and 9 and June 19, and from January 27. What are the news from? What are the AI news from January 31st, 2025? Can you please summarize? Let's see. Now it should struggle. Let's see if it will struggle. Rate limits. Let's look at the pricing. Oh, we see O3 mini. So see a comparison. O3 mini beating O1 in multiple tests. You saw that. Yes, all that graphs in math and everything. And if you see O3 mini cost $1. So basically it's the same price as O1 mini. But the only difference that O3 mini is much more capable than O1 in multiple topics. And what we see from $60 to $4, 30, not 30, 15 times less. So if DeepSeek cost about $2 something, it cost about $5. Yes, so basically 2 times more than DeepSeek for, and it's prices for 1 million tokens without any cached inputs. It would be less. So $1 for input, $4 for output, and O1 is 75, and it's just 5. You see, 15 times less, and it's the same cost as O1 mini, but again it's much more capable. So you see, it's, yeah, we work, we doing that things, and AI doing that things. They yeah, they making model cheaper and cheaper. Okay, real time review. Newer, by the way, cost much less. That one cost crazy, $200 per 1 million output tokens. It's crazy. Okay. Code interpreter from assistant for session and for file search cost. Yeah, probably we need to look into the assistant API. And transcription and speech generation. Text to speech cost $15 for 1 million characters, and whisper still cost $6,000, 6,000 part of dollar, so less than 1 cent per 1 minute. But it's still, in my application, one of the most costly thing, unless I'm use local whisper. Okay, and still you can use GPT-4 for $120 per 1 million output tokens. Okay, so yeah, at least they updated prices, not rate limits, but it's fine. Okay, let's see the response. And it says that, okay, gathering, okay. So OpenAI launched a free model, O3 Mini. Cool. High performance AI to wake the market turbulence sparked by DeepSeek success. And I believe it's success for all of us. So OpenAI launches first free deep thinking model, which is cool. Meets NVIDIA CEO. Oh, nice. President Trump meets with NVIDIA CEO, and it's from Reuters from today, from yesterday, from 31st. And they talked with Jensen Huang, and of course, the ability to develop competitive AI models using far fewer chips, etc., etc. Texas governor bans DeepSeek on government devices. maybe it's right decisions, unless it has access to the internet, and DeepSeek, of course, application sent everything to DeepSeek servers at China. Maybe it's not a good place to send all your government documentation. Just to summarize, I don't know. Yeah. Market implication and retail opportunities. So, DeepSeek efficient AI technology led to significant downturn in US tech stock. The result in lower cost AI is expected to benefit smaller retailers. Yes, it would be a race of .com/AI. Additional development and industry moves. So, SoftBank announced moves to invest heavily. What means heavily, I don't know. Microsoft reported be joining effort to launch New Jersey AI Research Hub. Okay. And West Virginia published an advisory reminding users to exercise caution and safeguard personal information when using generative AI tools. Okay. So, what I see, what is the current trend with big software companies? They do some layoff of their developers and invest money into AI infrastructure. Probably they do more layoffs and more AI personnel in the future. At least everything moving towards them, towards this. And you know, Google also proposed, if I'm not mistaken, what did Google propose recently? Something like voluntary. Let's see if it can find something. Maybe we don't need to use high for that. Okay, it's sort. What about search? Okay, it's called voluntary exit. I'm sorry, of course not voluntary layoffs. So Google proposed a voluntary exit program essential in increase incentive for affected employees to choose to leave on their own rather than face involuntary layoffs. This program being offered exclusively to US employees in its platform and device team. So you see, people who work on Android, Pixel, hardware, Chrome, wearable devices, and related products, they will do layoff there. And now they say, hey, who won't go himself right now? Maybe with some better compensation, I don't know, with some better, bigger time frame. According to internal memos and reports from sources, Senior Vice President Rick sent out memo explaining that the buyout option is meant to help the company trim duplicate roles following the merger of its Android, Chrome, and hardware teams. So they will merge all of those. The goal is to ensure that remaining staff are fully committed to the team mission and Google ramp up its AI integration efforts and cost-cutting measurements. So even all the company doing some good revenue, everyone decided, okay, I will cut some jobs and invest into AI, and you see where it's all going. So learn AI stuff. It's what I can say. Learn AI stuff. Okay. I thought maybe start doing something, but you know, today O3 was released, and still today I'm going to do another stream, which will be my late evening stream. And it would be time when I try to do something. And basically I'll continue just to completely implement my project so I can share it with more people, providing them access to website. Now with the DeepSeek models and everything, probably I could think of invest slightly into the server infrastructure in Azure, and I can allow some free plans to everyone to go and look at that product. And as you know, I'll continuously improve it with you together or without you. So we have open source version of all the tools, including tools to execute any prompt based on video content, textile content, video textile content, like generating everything. We have rich configuration system where you can configure everything, use multiple configuration and change them basically on fly. As well, we have some additional features like news discussion starters or just discussion starters, chatbot, live transpile, something else. We have talkative chatbot and so on. So many features, and I have more bright and fresh ideas, but for those we need to store something in database and have some vector DBs, so we can search for something based on the user channel, etc. Videos by some criteria, look for something, search, and be like much more aware about something. And by the way, I read that O3 mini and O3 high have much bigger context window. It's about 200,000 tokens, and it's more than DeepSeek, which is, I still believe, about 128, and of course more than GPT-4. I'm not so sure about O1 and O1 Pro. Probably they also about 2000 hundreds. I'm not sure. But yeah, they look big, even they don't allow uploading the file, but when you sending them some information, they looks like don't forget about it and still continue behave pretty cool. I haven't used O3 with some real code examples, and on my code, my work code, which I work with, which is really complex. I think O1 can slightly help me with the code, but not too much. But at least I understand how to use it to at least slightly help me. I'll see O3. Maybe it would be a game changer because I can provide, there are some documentation link for some references for something, and I can, instead of sending the full reference, which is go out of limits, I can say, hey, there is a link, just read what you need to implement some simple method or something, and maybe it will behave better. I will test it, not today, not tomorrow, but surely starting from Monday, and I'll let you know. Okay, that's all updates from my side, from AI side. I will not touch any political events right now, but they not so bright as they could be. From other side, there are nothing much changed. Tomorrow, or basically today, we should see a raise in taxes for products from Canada and Mexico and China. China for 10%, from Canada and Mexico for 25%. Let's see how it will go, and maybe we will see a huge price increase in our stores, but most probably everything be mostly at the same level, because I mean, if you increase prices too much, then someone else will benefit from it, those companies and those countries for which Donald Trump doesn't raise the taxes. For example, China could send its products to, I don't know, Ecuador, Guatemala, same other countries like Peru, Chile, I don't know, so many countries, and they will send it to United States like own products. They just need to replace made in China to made in Peru or made in Cambodia. And yeah, uh, United States tax border patrol will not recognize those China products in those. And he said, okay, you shouldn't pay any taxes, and that would be nice. Okay, So what I'm saying is that business always try to find some hidden ways to still make money. Sometimes they're not so legal, but it's always there. So let's hope it would be only small implications, not big. Okay, guys. As always, you can leave me some comments under the video. I'll see you later today, or maybe for you it will be the next day. Let's meet, evening time now, our usual time, and talk about everything we want, and maybe do some coding. Leave me some comments so we can start with them. If not, then you're fine. I wish you all the best. And when I say all the best, of course,